Hi, my name is Demi Blaker, and I'm going to be talking about how to play softball. And I feel very credited with talking about this because I play softball at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, and I played at Mississippi State last year. Um, and I've played softball my whole entire life, and so I know the game fairly well. And I mean, I should because, well, I've been playing it forever. But um, now I can talk about how it ties to you. We've all grown up going to our favorite baseball games and tailgating and eating our favorite concession stand food and being with our friends and whatnot. But it's always grown up and it's kind of been embedded in our country as a men's sport. Well, it's also a women's sport, and that's how it ties to not just men but women and all of us. Softball's a great sport, and it has so many different things that relate to baseball, but it also has a lot of things that don't necessarily coincide with baseball. Um, the ways that it does is there are still 9 players on the field. There's the catcher, the pitcher, the first baseman, the second baseman, the shortstop, the third baseman, center field, left field, and right field. And they are on the field at one time when they are defending. And while the opposing team is hitting, there's 9 people in that lineup as well that'll hit and try and score runs. And then also on the field, there's 2 umpires that will call the game. One calls balls and strikes, and the other one calls plays being made at the bases, like first, second, and third. The field, as far as what it looks like and all that, is kind of like baseball, but different because the infield is all dirt. There's no grass in the infield at all, and the outfield is made of completely grass. But just some rules to know about the game. You get 3 strikes, and if you do get 3 strikes, you're out. But you can either hit, or you can walk, or you can strike out, or you can bunt, or there's some other options that you can do. As far as striking out, like I said, there's 3 strikes when you strike out. You can either strike out swinging or strike out looking. And looking would be like a called strike that the umpire calls, but you don't swing at it. Obviously, striking out swinging would be swinging at the ball that is a strike, or any other pitch. It could be a ball that you swung at, but it's still going to be a strike against you. 4 balls that is thrown by the pitcher, which is not in the strike zone in a sense, is going to be called as a ball. And then if you get 4 of those, it's a walk. You can steal bases, but you cannot get your lead until the ball has left the pitcher's hand. Whereas in baseball, you can get your lead before the pitcher ever lets go of the ball. You can advance to bases on pass balls, which means the ball that's thrown from the pitcher can get past the catcher, and that's when the runner that's on first or second or whatever base can advance to the next base. A player can also advance to another base when a player hits a ball, like their teammate hits the ball to the outfield or hits to the infield or whatever, and they're able to advance without a play being made on them. Also, there are, like I said, there's a home plate, a first base, a second base, and a third base. A force out is made when all of the bases are filled up except for home, or let's say that there's a runner on first and second. There's a play at third because there's nowhere, that runner at second can't stay because the runner at first has to advance, in a sense. So the game is really filled with a lot of common sense stuff, and a lot of it, like I said, relates to baseball, but there's also little things like the bases being closer together and the field being smaller and the bats are different. The ball is obviously different. A baseball is, smaller and a softball is bigger. But yeah, the sport is really awesome, and it's a great way to get exercise, and it's a lot of fun to play. It's very fast-paced. Besides, baseball is very slow and can last for hours. Their games last 2.5 to 3 hours, whereas a softball game can last from anywhere from an hour to maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the latest, but it's typically more fast paced. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all I can think to say, and I hope you learned a little bit of how to play softball.